Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the video store, the place that we can go to every week when it's movie night. On days like today, when the store is quiet, I get to chat to my friends about the films and the series that we're loving. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
Good morning.
Good morning, Russell.
Good morning, guys.
Hi.
How's everyone doing?
Good, dude. How are you?
I'm lekker.
Nice.
I'm feeling good. I'm well rested.
Nice.
And we had a really awesome weekend at the Bioscope.
Cool.
Which I want to get into. We've got ourselves a GeForce, a Graeme GeForce Hackney,
Good morning.
who is an editor
Yeah.
and very much the producer of the show.
Yeah.
And today we've got Samantha.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm
We've got
back.
we've got Samantha Nell, who is a writer and director, whose debut feature, Do Your Worst,
Yeah.
is currently streaming on Netflix.
Still on
Cool.
Netflix. Actually, every time we come here, I'm just going to promote the film until it's not on Netflix anymore.
I think we should. It's a lovely, lovely comedy.
Yeah.
Romantic comedy. It's very smart. It's very cool.
Thank you.
Nice.
And we've got ourselves a shift here
Yeah.
behind the counter of the video store. Thank you for wandering in.
Yes.
My name is Russell. I am the owner of The Bioscope, which is an independent cinema here in Johannesburg. And I've roped in some really smart, really good friends of mine to work at my video store. And so we are going to talk about all the movies and the series that we're loving at the moment.
Yeah.
I think the big one to talk about is Jurassic World,
Yeah.
Rebirth,
Yes.
which, yeah, we'll get into it. It
Yeah.
sounds a bit weird saying it. It really sounds like it's the 7th movie in the franchise when one phrases it like that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for there to be like colon title, then semicolon second title.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
just
It feels a bit much, right?
Yeah.
But good old big ass dinosaur movie.
Yeah. Made
so
a ton of money.
made a ton of money. We'll get into that. I got a few interesting TV shows to
Cool.
talk about.
me too.
Nice.
But I think that would be the lay of the episode.
Nice.
We'd like to kick things off with a little round of, hey, did you guys see?
Yes.
Do you want to start? Graham?
I sure can. We had a few trailers this week. Hey, did you guys see the trailer for Roof Man?
Yes.
This is the
Okay.
new Edgar Wright.
No.
No.
Running Man is
Running
the new.
Man, sorry.
Yeah, I got
Thank
that
you.
one on the list as well.
Okay.
Roof Man is a new Channing Tatum film. It's based on a true story
Yeah.
about a guy. He got the nickname Roof Man because he was breaking into McDonald's by cutting through the roof. He gets arrested, goes to jail, breaks out of jail, and spends 6 months living inside of a Toys R Us without anyone knowing.
Yes.
This
That's
is
what the
fantastic.
trailer reveals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story, and it's based on a true story. But they're taking a very like, it seems like a You movie. They're taking a very like heartfelt like,
Okay, Graham is pointing at me.
yes, it's very
Because-
Russell.
Okay, Russell likes...
It looks Russell likes his gooey movies.
I like a good gooey movie.
a heartfelt.
Okay.
You know, it looks like a little like a sort of redemptive, like, hey, this guy was down on his luck, he did some stuff, but now he's like building a community and he's meeting people and falling in love. And
So it's a little bit like The Terminal, but just
Yes.
with Toys R Us.
exactly,
Okay, that's
but it
fascinating.
looks cute and it looks quite amusing.
And I love it when we do get these crazy true stories.
Yes,
Where it's like, you know, we speak about AI here all the time, but I don't think AI could
No.
be as weird as some of the kooky
Yeah.
humans that have existed in this world.
exactly.
Definitely.
That could come up with these like crazy, larger than life stories.
Yeah,
I also once did have a thought how cool it would be to have secret stuff inside like a mall.
yeah,
Like if you could have like, because I've obviously with the Bioscope thought a lot about retail, thought a lot about like ideas and projects. And there's definitely these like bowels of a shopping mall.
yes,
And it could be cool to have like a secret apparel store or like a secret like
a
club or
speakeasy.
bar or
Yeah.
speakeasy that like exists. You know, obviously the mall knows about it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
But I'll never forget going to a secret sneaker store in Boston.
okay,
It was called Bodega, and it was behind this like sun-bleached shop that you walk into with all these like old dusty products. It almost looked like a thrift store. And if you stood in the corner, the the door slid open, and it was this beautiful like sneaker store.
That's rad.
And the guy was like, "We don't have to advertise. It's completely word of mouth, and it just works because this person in Boston was like, let me show you this place."
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Funny. Anyways, we digress.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum,
Yeah.
funny guy.
Yes.
My
It
name's
looks pretty
Jeff.
good. Yeah.
He can do comedy.
Yeah.
He's
really
very
do
funny.
comedy. He's a funny dude.
Yes.
He can dance. He's
Yeah.
hell of a funny. I mean, I always go back to She's the Man, which is the
Yes.
pinnacle of that era of high school Shakespearean adaptations.
Right.
And he is fantastic.
Yeah.
What was it the adaptation of?
Elf Knight.
I was
Yeah.
fucking last week old when I realized Clueless was Emma.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And it's a great adaptation.
Yeah.
Of Emma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the teachers and the setting up of the teachers, everything. I haven't read Emma, but I just
same.
know that.
You should. I'm here to evangelize for Jane Austen. You should
Okay.
read it. It's really good.
Cool.
Okay. Sam, have you got one?
Yes. So I saw also a trailer that
Yeah.
came out. Hey, did you guys see
Yes.
the Sentimental Value trailer?
Oh, no.
Sentimental Value. No,
I
I
missed
don't know
that
that.
one.
What's
Gosh,
that?
I hope I've gotten the title right now because I freaked myself out.
We can do a
it's,
quick Google.
Yeah.
It's the new Joachim Trier. It won the Grand Prix at Cannes this year. It's got Stellan Skarsgård and Renata Rensve, whose name I again hope I'm pronouncing very, very well. It's watch the trailer because it looks gorgeous. It's also got one of the Fannings in it. I think it's Elle.
Right.
I can't tell the difference between Dakota and Elle Fanning. That's
But,
I have
okay.
Fanning blindness.
But just one sec. Cannes, the big one is the Palme d'Or.
Yes. So if you want to do like gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal,
Okay.
you've got the Palme d'Or is the gold.
And that went to that like,
Jafar Pahani, it's an Iranian film.
it's an Iranian.
He's like, people are out to get him in Iran. So all the films he makes like secretly. And
Yeah.
it's-
Okay, cool.
then the Grand Prix is your silver.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that is the jury prize, which is your
Okay.
bronze.
All right. Okay. So, and this is Joachim Trier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joachim Trier.
Joachim
Again,
Trier,
it's a
yeah.
bunch of names I can't pronounce,
Yeah.
but the trailer, it's interesting because he does a lot of like very grounded work. He does a lot of kind of like beautiful emotional stuff. When you watch this trailer, you go, oh God, this will break me, but it also looks a little funny. So I'm very excited.
Sentimental Value. Okay. So
Yeah,
it's
sentimental value is what it's called.
okay. And which of the sisters
Oh,
is
it's
good?
Elle. I think it's Elle Fanning.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
now which one's Elle Fanning? That's
She's
Complete
the
Unknown.
younger of the two.
Yes.
Yeah, she was Complete Unknown.
She was Complete Unknown. She
Oh,
was
yes.
she was also
Yes.
in Catherine the Great, the Hulu, which would have been here a
Oh, it was
Disney
just
series.
It was
yeah.
just called The Great.
The
hey?
Great. Yes.
Oh yeah. No, I've heard that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's like Nicholas Hoult and her, and it's
Yeah.
it's like the first episode. You're like, oh, this is not what I expected.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, I wonder whether that's going to get a cinema release in South Africa. I must
Yeah.
look for it in our
Keep an eye out.
schedule.
I imagine if it does well, it'll be around Oscar season. That's
Okay.
kind of the window.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Neon bought it, so
Okay.
as they buy so many things to continue their Palm d'Or streak. I think
Yeah.
they're 6 years running now.
Yes. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Did you guys see which big concerts happened this last weekend? There were two really kind of pivotal music concerts.
Yeah.
The first was the kickoff show of the Oasis reunion,
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I did
which I
see
thought was kind of interesting. The world was waiting in bated breath to see if this thing
Yeah.
isn't going to like crumble immediately. But it seemed to work. They came out holding hands
Right.
like sort of politicians that had just signed a peace treaty. And they banged out all the Oasis songs everybody knows and loves.
There you go.
I was never the biggest Oasis fan.
Same.
And they were never like, I was more Foo Fighters. And Foo Fighters give you a bit more energy. You realize like the moment Oasis kicks into gear, like it's a very like bully show. But speaking of bully shows, the other big one was Ozzy Osbourne's last performance.
Yes.
Now a very old man. He sat in this like throne because he was named the Prince of Darkness, right?
Yes.
That's like been his
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
name in entertainment, like the king of pop or the king of rock and roll.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was Black Sabbath's kind of last show, and it was called Back to the Beginnings. and it had a lot of famous folk, and I think it was just a big orgy of rock and roll nostalgia.
Right.
But it's cool. It's kind of interesting just to mark the end of that. And I think
Yeah.
at no point in the life of Ozzy Osbourne could anyone have predicted he was going to be a reality TV star.
No.
Yeah.
And so it's wild to think that was such a big chapter of his life.
Sort of like the granddaddy of the Prince of Darkness, but also the granddaddy of reality TV.
Yeah,
I
in
mean,
many
like,
ways. Hey,
oh.
it was because of they were just one episode of a particular show.
Yeah.
I think it like Cribs or Diary of, or
And everyone
one
was
of-
like, we should do more of this.
yeah. Someone was like, I think we've just fucking found the lightning in the bottle.
Yeah.
And he was still old enough or young enough to walk around and be vaguely comprehensible.
Yeah, vaguely.
But Black Sabbath were considered in many ways to be the first like heavy band, the first like rock and roll like heavy band
Yeah.
ever. So
Yeah.
no, interesting.
Yeah. You actually just brought this one up. Hey, did you guys see the trailer for The Running Man?
Yes,
It looks kind of cool. So this is Edgar Wright's new film. Always
I'm-
excited about Edgar Wright.
I'm here for Edgar Wright.
Definitely.
It looks a little more. Yeah, it doesn't look as kind of punk rock as Edgar Wright's other films.
No, yeah. He's definitely been like playing in different genres,
Yeah.
trying to like break out of the comedy thing as much as he can.
But like Baby Driver was just like slick and cool,
Yeah.
and it had a lovely aesthetic. The logo and the identity of Running Man almost looks like a BioPlus advert. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't look cool,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's
Okay.
interesting. But it's a
Yes.
Stephen King.
Yes, it's another Stephen King. I think it's going to be the third Stephen King adaptation we get this year.
And was this a short story? Of
No,
Stephen
it was a
King?
novel.
It was a
I
novel.
believe it
of
was a
Stephen
novel. And
King.
it's already been made into a movie. It was made into a movie in the 80s with
really?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is Running Man about?
Running Man, I think that, I don't know what the book does, but in this version, in the original version with Arnold, he's like a cop who's been like falsely accused of crimes. And then, but to get out of it, this is like a slightly distant future thing. People can enter into this competition where basically it's not illegal to kill them. And they
Yeah.
have to survive for as long as they have to survive for like a month or something like that. I can't remember the exact period of time.
it sounds like it's almost like a Hunger Games premise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this kind of
Exactly.
quite sort of not cool looking future,
Yes.
where like one person gets picked as the Running Man,
Yeah.
and everyone's allowed to hunt them.
Yes.
But instead of
Something
it
like that.
being in this kind of Hunger Games battleground, it just seems to be like the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like The Purge meets Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And our main guy running is Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell, yeah.
So I'm here for it.
And they've changed now that he's kind of like a down on his luck dad with a sick daughter
Oh, yeah.
who wants the money to like help his daughter out rather than trying to make him a sympathetic cop, which I don't think people would get on board with these days. No.
Interesting. You get the feeling that in 2025, you're more likely to make a faithful adaptation,
Yeah.
where maybe the Schwarzenegger adaptation was in the era of like
Yeah.
big liberties.
Yeah, maybe. But it's got a great cast, like
Yeah.
you said, Glenn Powell, but also Josh Brolin's in it.
Oh, love Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin, Michael Cera, Lee Pace, Coleman Domingo,
Ah,
It's
I
a
love
great
Coleman.
Katie
Cast.
O'Brien, William H. Macy. It's like it's a good list.
Yeah.
It's a good list, and it looks pretty. I'm here for Edgar Wright. I'll go and watch whatever he does.
Yeah, and even me thinking whether or not this is a Bioscope movie,
Yeah,
just purely by it being Edgar Wright, I'm interested.
yes,
This is Shaun of the Dead.
yeah.
This is
Hot Fuzz,
Hot Fuzz.
like you said, Baby Driver.
What was the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World?
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching that with you, Samo.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's a great
A long
movie.
time ago in varsity.
It's incredible.
All right.
But
Yeah.
it's, sorry, just on Edgar Wright, it's, the thing about him is even if you don't like the movie, like I'm not a fan of Last Night in Soho, but it'll be inventive.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
joyful,
Yeah,
Yeah, and I also appreciate following him on Instagram.
Oh,
like
really?
you could just see he just loves movies.
Yeah.
Oh, he loves movies.
The ones that he goes and sees, like he will celebrate that and be like, "Go and watch this. Go and this is great. This is cool."
Yeah. He has like 1,000 movie long list on Letterboxd of
Yes.
things he loves.
yeah,
That you can like
Okay.
slowly work your way through.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he's a parent. He's like, I got multiple lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That excruciatingly has to be put together.
Yeah.
Curated like a mixtape.
Have you got another one, Samo?
It's interestingly just a trailer I saw yesterday because I went to see F1.
Oh, yeah.
And talking about concerts, the Roger Waters concert film that is going to come out soon. And I like Roger Waters. I like Pink Floyd. But more importantly, I was like, I haven't seen a concert film in a while. Obviously, barring the Eras tour, which is a different thing.
Yeah.
But like, I miss concert films. Like, these are bands that we will never get a chance to see here.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
unlikely. And something that really like kind of captures the space of like that kind of scale of performance as an accessible thing in South Africa.
Okay, so there is going to be a Roger Waters concert film. I must look into that at the Bioscope because these all come in different shapes and forms, and sometimes they come through the record labels and smaller distribution companies. Okay, so you saw it at where did you go?
I
Metro?
went to IMAX because I thought F1 let me
no,
have a
of
look
course,
on
yeah.
IMAX. So it was a Sterkinical.
Okay, I must look into
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
The Bioscope has been screening a visual album. The band Turnstile, who are like quite a hardcore punk band, but they've got this beautiful melodic sensibility to them. And then of course there are these bursts of hard rock, but it's not just balls to the wall. When you think hardcore punk, you think like one frequency kind of bashing against a wall. It's not that. It's far more sort of focused and sophisticated music. But they've released this visual album, so it's as long as their album, so that's usually under an hour, and they've created these incredible visuals. And because we're screening it at the Bioscope in DCP format, which is the main sort of cinema standard, the quality is incredible, especially the sound.
Cool.
And I love that we're in this new era of visual albums. Like there's a Miley Cyrus one, which is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Bands are doing this, especially the artists that do see visuals, and they're not just a purist in terms of that. I mean, every band and every artist makes music videos, but to see this whole like vision as a film is cool. The Weeknd misstepped, in my opinion, with that Hurry Up Tomorrow, because they build it like a film.
Yes.
And when you watch it, you're like, this is a shit film. But if you told me it was a visual album, I'd be like, okay, I get it. Because it's this kind of paper-thin plot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, it made a really cuck movie, in my opinion. I don't. Did you see it?
I saw little bits of it, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh, not for me.
No. And I thought it could be interesting. But I just love that we are in an era of visual albums. I don't think these really existed for too much before this.
Well,
The occasional one happened.
If you go back to Pink Floyd, the
Okay.
The Wall,
The Wall,
is
yeah,
kind
good
of
point.
your original, filmic visual album.
Yeah.
It feels like,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're very right. Yeah,
but they don't exist, and then music videos happen. So
Yeah.
it's almost like singles versions of them. And then music videos now exist in like a sort of limbo space because MTV's gone.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're popular on YouTube, but like, also why?
But also, people don't necessarily go to YouTube anymore. I'll never forget playing a show in Stellenbosch with the band that I'm in, Short Straw, and these students didn't have access. Only certain sites could be possible in their reses, and YouTube was unlocked, and that's how they were listening to the majority of their music, was through the music videos.
Yeah.
But now you've got YouTube Music, and you've got streaming on all platforms, and so it's like I think people aren't watching music videos anymore.
No. Yeah.
So okay, that makes sense. That we're sort of evolving into the visual album.
Yeah.
Which makes
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see the trailer for Hail Mary?
Ooh, Project
Yes.
Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Hell yes, I'm excited about Project
Okay.
Hail Mary.
I think you're the most excited.
Yes.
So tell us more about it and what it means to you.
So it's based on a book by Andy Weir, who's the same guy who wrote The Martian. But probably best known for The Martian.
Yeah.
It's adapted by the same guy who wrote the screenplay for The Martian, Drew Goddard.
Okay.
And it's directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are probably best known for the Spider-Verse stuff.
Okay, are they
also
loaded?
did-
They're known as Lord and Miller,
Yes,
right?
Lord and Miller. They also did like the 21 Jump Street movies and
Love those
the
movies.
Lego movie.
Yeah.
They almost made a Star Wars movie that they got fired off of.
It
Oh,
was
shit.
it was Han Solo.
Yeah,
It was
they were doing the solo movie.
Could
They
have
were-
been so cool.
I would have loved to see
Just
that
like
version.
you pointed to me and said you love a gooey movie.
Yeah.
I could point to Graeme and say he loves a big swing.
I love a big swing. Even if it doesn't land, I love a big swing.
Just you appreciate the try.
Yeah.
So obviously these guys were trying for something quite bold
Yes.
with the Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they went, a bit much.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And it ended up being the shittest movie of all of them.
It's the most
Really?
dull of all of them.
Dull
Which-
is is a
yeah.
good way to
Which is
describe
a big thing because, I mean, all of that, it's a stacked cast.
Yeah.
And they signed on for Lord and Miller.
Yeah, exactly.
it. Yeah.
And then it's one of those processes where it just sort of gets, like the rug just gets pulled
Yeah.
out from under you as you go.
Yep.
And you eventually like, wait, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess I'm just cashing a check.
Yeah.
Oh.
What is Project Hail Mary about?
So it's about, in the book initially, I assume they'll frame the movie the same way. A
Have you
guy
read the
wakes up, yeah, I've read it a few times. A guy wakes up, it's Ryan Gosling, Mr. Gosling, the lovely Ryan Gosling. He doesn't know where he is, he doesn't know what's happening, he's lost his memory. He has no idea what's going on, and he kind of gradually starts to put everything back together. He's in space. He doesn't even know he's in space to begin with. And the reason he's there is because they have realized that the sun is dimming.
Okay.
And they realize all the stars are dimming. Every star that we can see from Earth are getting gradually dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, except for one.
Okay.
So whatever's causing this, either this place is like immune from it or that's where it's coming from. So he's been sent there. He's not an astronaut.
Okay.
He's a scientist who's now become a school teacher, and he's been sent there to figure this out.
Okay. His scientific brain makes him the most likely candidate.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
it'll come through in the book. He was like an astrophysicist or an astrobiologist or something like that.
Have you seen that lovely moment in one of these reality TV shows where the guy says, "I'm a astronomer,"
Yeah.
and the woman goes, "Oh, cool. I'm a Taurus."
Yeah. The best.
It's great. Okay. Yeah.
But what the trailer unfortunately spoils that I wish that they didn't is he arrives there, and one of the first things he realizes is there's another spaceship there.
Okay.
It's an alien spaceship there.
Okay.
And he meets an alien.
Yes, you get the sense that I think you see it's like claws.
Yeah,
or
you
its
just
hand
yeah
or
you just see a
something.
little bit
Yeah.
of it, and he calls him Rocky.
Okay.
And yeah, I went into the book not knowing that at all,
Okay.
that there was any like science fiction-y element to it.
Yeah.
And so when it crops up, it was like, holy shit.
Okay.
And it was really exciting. And even like reading, I didn't even read the back of the book before I read it. And even like the blurb on the back doesn't like give it away that that's going to happen. But I understand why they're doing it in the trailer, because you can't market a movie like this without kind of, you can't market it without that,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, someone should send that memo to all the contemporary musicals.
Yes.
Yes.
Please tell people you are a musical.
You're making a musical.
Give me some little prance down a corridor
Yeah.
with a click. Just
Yeah.
give me some indication
Do you
that
know
there's
what? Do you know
going to
what
be
people
music.
hate more than musicals?
Yeah.
Surprise
Surprise
musicals.
musicals,
Yes. Was The Martian Andy Weir's first book?
Yes. Yeah.
And that was made in a very cool way, right?
Yeah, he published it online as if, because in the way the book is written is they're actually like written logs from the astronaut, from Mark Watney, and he's actually writing logs, and he published those as if they're actual like logs from a guy on Mars,
Oh, cool.
writing these things and like broadcasting them back to Earth.
That's cool.
But he got a lot of feedback as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very crowd-funded
Yeah.
effort to then turn it into a published book.
Yes, and then when it became a book, he did add like chapters in between that are more like traditionally like prose written,
Interesting.
that kind of go in between the logs.
Okay, well, it's rad that he's got another hit on his hands.
Yeah.
Like, he's got another successful book
Yes.
that's been turned into another movie. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
think
very cool.
he's one of those guys who like before the book is even out, it's already been optioned by a studio.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
next book that he's still writing has already been optioned.
For
We
sure.
don't even know what it is, but
Yeah.
the studio's already optioned the rights to it.
Well, a shout out to our interview with Edward Ashton, the guy who wrote Mickey 7.
Yes.
Before it got published, it had already been bought and
Yeah.
optioned.
Yes.
Optioned and bought
Yeah.
by Bong Joon-ho
Yeah.
to become Mickey 17.
Because the same thing, how he wrote, there was another book between The Martian and Project Hail Mary called Artemis, which was also optioned, but they They obviously went for this one first.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but I'm excited about it. I really enjoyed the book so much.
Okay, so this means a lot to you.
Yeah, and the movie looks like a faithful, solid adaptation.
It's also nice just to see whatever era Ryan Gosling is in.
Yes.
Just go and if he's in it, go and watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he is having the most fun
yeah,
of anyone right now.
exactly.
That is true.
Yeah.
His dark period was
dark.
Was
Yeah.
dark.
Oh, Blue Valentine, yeah.
Yeah.
A good time.
And only God forgives.
Yeah.
Only God forgives.
It's just
and-
him in the
Drive.
shadows, like brooding, and
Yeah.
then just fucks people up.
Yeah. Place
And his
Beyond the
face is just
Pines.
like covered in blood.
Yeah.
I've never seen The Place Beyond the Pines.
It's very beautiful.
right.
It will also break you, but it's a very strange film as well.
This is where he met
His wife.
wife.
Eva Mendes.
Eva Mendes.
That's the guy directed that. I can't remember his name. Is directing Roofman, which we were just
It's
talking
Derek
about.
Gianfrance.
What's his name?
Derek Gianfrance.
Okay, he's in Roofman, which we just spoke
Okay.
about.
Roofman is sounding like a Bioscope movie.
Yeah, it looks cute. It looks heartwarming.
Okay, cool. Have you got another one? I got one. Hey, did you guys see Ryan Coogler is on track to reboot the X-Files?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey?
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know, because I couldn't quite make out from the sort of the chatter whether this is a movie or a TV show, but I'd
Okay.
imagine it's a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's got his hands in Ironheart,
Yeah.
which is on Disney Plus, and I think he's got a big contract with Disney.
Okay.
I'm sure he does.
And
Yeah.
so this will fall under the...
Oh yeah, they own that now because it was
Disney
Fox.
It was Fox, yeah.
Yeah.
They bought all of that
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, so it'll be
Interesting.
interesting to see what one does with X-Files in 2025.
Yeah.
Because that was a really cool, edgy show.
Yeah.
It was,
Like,
yeah.
of the childhood.
Mm.
Well, they're also rebooting Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
Chloe Zhao is rebooting
Yeah.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay, now, Graham, just to give you an idea of why Samo
Yeah.
very much deserves this job at the
Yes.
video store. Sam, tell Graham what you spent years of your life working on.
My thesis for my undergraduate is
Yeah.
about Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I was looking for an excuse to rewatch that show
Nice.
for work purposes.
What was your like view or kind of angle or take or
I looked at two very specific episodes that gender swap characters and play with gender. Because the whole principle of Buffy the Vampire Slayer is she's the final girl,
Yeah.
yeah.
but she's empowered and she's strong and she can do all of those things. So the whole thing plays with like gender and stereotype. And then there are two very specific episodes where characters within that also swap gender or swap role.
Okay.
And how it plays with that construction is very interesting for both comedy and horror and whatever point the specific episode is making.
Okay.
what did you call your thesis? Did
Gosh,
it
I
have a
can't
name?
remember, but I'll find out.
Okay.
And I'll tell you.
Cool.
Lacquer. Okay, well that's interesting.
Right.
Chloé Zhao did
Nomadland.
Nomadland. She won the Oscar for
And-
that.
And The Eternals, which
Yeah.
is not good.
Let's not talk about that.
It looks better than other Marvel movies.
It
but
looks
it's not good.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it should have been like 4 hours long.
Okay. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Something to stock the shelves with. I saw the movie Bros is now on Netflix.
Yes.
Oh.
And why I'm bringing that up is because it was that kind of movie that very famously just needed to be seen.
Yeah.
Right.
But they sort of, I think they kind of misstepped the marketing of it
100% they did.
because they wanted to be like, we're just making a queer movie that's like for everyone. And everyone's like, but you're calling it a queer movie. And if I'm not
Right.
queer, like myself, I was like, I don't really need to see it.
Yeah.
So a little bit like we were just talking 5 minutes ago about how you are deceiving us
Right.
and giving us these Trojan horses. This one made a mistake by telling us too much.
Right.
I think they also, because I fully agree they misstepped the marketing, but there was also like an atmosphere around that film that if you didn't go and see it, you were homophobic.
Right.
Yeah,
I was like, that's, don't make people feel bad.
Yeah, it's
Like,
manipulative.
But
Yeah.
it was put up to be like, this is the big romantic comedy that the world needs
Yeah.
that just happens to be gay.
Yes.
And then it famously like didn't do that well.
Yeah.
And so it needed to be on streaming. And some of these films just you can just see will live better in streaming.
Completely.
History has shown us there's a handful of some of the most celebrated films of all time famously bombed at the box office,
Yeah.
100%.
but found their audience in the video stores.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And streaming is the same idea.
100%.
And
Like,
so,
I
yeah.
think The Shawshank Redemption is one of those movies.
Yeah.
No, very famously that.
Yeah.
So Bros is now on Netflix. Worth a crack.
Hmm.
I must say, I appreciated 1 year watching a whole bunch of those Christmas movies. And there was a year about 2 years ago where like the Netflix big Christmas movies of the year were queer stories.
Okay.
And it was not a fucking problem at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
they did well.
you were just rooting for love, and it didn't matter what shape or form it was in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it was just, for me personally, as someone who is heterosexual, I was like, I don't really want to see this.
Right.
But it's also
Just because it was a banner that I sort of didn't necessarily care for.
Right.
But it's also, I mean, for years as a queer person, the only queer stories we were telling were coming out stories, or there were stories about, oh, we love each other but we can't because of the circumstances.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and so you were going into those movies going, this is going to hurt. You know?
They were always tragic. Yeah.
And so it's so nice. Like I am here for the trashy rom-com like queer love story. I want that. I want to be able to go in and like be like, oh, delicious, like a fast food. Bye.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I'm all for it, and let there be thousands of them. But yeah, it was just, I just remember Billy Eichner, you know, sort of pushing it in a particular way, and I just remember seeing that it didn't quite work out how they wanted it.
All right.
But here's a big studio film, and I think that was what he was saying. This is the first big studio film that is a queer love story. Like that hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So let the birthing pains hopefully happen and pass.
Yeah.
And now there can be more in their wake.
Lots.
So yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Should we talk about dinosaurs?
Let's do that.
And let's start with the most important question. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh my God, my nephew, if he were listening, would be like,
He'd have an answer straight
he'd
away.
have an answer straight away. It's, I don't know, a pterodactyl. That's what I'm going to go with, the
right.
flying ones.
Okay.
I think we spoke about this when the trailer came out. I think I said
Could have.
Stegosaurus
I'm
It's a
also a
good answer.
Stegosaurus
because
guy.
they're cool. They're
They
just
are
weird.
fucking cool.
They're just oddballs.
They're quite like punk rock. They've got
Yeah.
like mohawks.
Mohawks, tiny heads.
Yeah.
Tiny
I like
head,
a,
weird,
I like a
weird
good
tail.
Stegosaurus.
You know, the tail of a Stegosaurus was named because of a Far Side comic book
Yeah.
because they didn't have it. They just hadn't bothered to like give it a name. There were like 4 sparks on it,
Yeah.
and there was a Far Side joke where Gary Larson called it a thagomizer. He just made up a word,
Okay.
so now it's actually called a
I
thagomizer.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what did you... Okay. Sam, have you seen Jurassic
I didn't get
World?
a chance to see it yet.
Okay. G-Force, you and Cole went out and watched it?
Yes.
I saw it a few weeks ago as an exhibitor. And I walked out going like, this is cool. It's a good old dinosaur movie. It delivers, and there was, for me, all the same kind of touch points that you get in all these dinosaur movies, because there have
Nice.
now been 6 before this.
Oh yeah.
This is the 7th
Yeah.
of this, what was originally a book.
Yep.
Michael Crichton's The Jurassic Park.
Yep.
He wrote the second one, hey,
Yeah,
Lost World.
The Lost World,
And
yeah.
I think he stopped writing the books at that point.
There's a return of, I think, a screenwriter for this one.
Yeah, David Kep, who
Yeah.
wrote the first one.
No.
The guy who wrote the very first one
Yeah.
returned as the screenwriter.
Yep.
And Gareth Edwards
Gareth Edwards, yeah.
directed this 7th one now. And so he did Godzilla, right?
Godzilla 2014 Godzilla. He did Rogue One.
Exactly.
And the creator.
So he's a director that certainly knows what he's doing. And so
Oh, yeah.
I was excited to potentially see some kind of a reboot, some kind of a refresh, some kind of an exciting new kind of dinosaur movie. And I think if it really delivered on that, it would be screening at the Bioscope.
Yeah.
But coming out at the same time as F1 and all these other big blockbusters, because this is the sort of blockbuster season, I passed on it for the Bioscope. But that wasn't...
It's not a Bioscope movie.
Yeah, just because it wasn't that big, bold swing that I know you love, Graeme, and that the Bioscope would be here for. It
Yeah.
was just another dinosaur movie.
Yes.
But a solid one.
It was fine.
There we go.
I thought it was okay. It's
All
like
right,
a very
so tell me
middle of the
what you
road. So that's okay. First of all, what it's about is it's not really a reboot. I think it kind of should have been, to be honest. I think it's time to hit the reset button. But it does take place after the last Jurassic World movies, where they keep making the promise of dinosaurs in like the real world, like the rest of the world, but they never like commit to that. So now they're saying the dinosaurs only exist on the equator because that's where the environment is most
Warm enough
like
for them, yeah.
it's most like it was 65 million years ago, whatever. And the idea is the story's nonsense. They're going to collect genetic samples of the 3 biggest dinosaurs because they can like use it to cure heart disease because the dinosaurs have big hearts.
What?
Yeah.
That's what that's like. Or they have really big hearts, so they have some sort of like gene which will allow them to like make human hearts better or whatever. But I'm
Yeah.
going, but there's already animals with big hearts.
Yeah.
Elephants are real big.
Yeah.
Whales are really big.
Yeah.
You don't need dinosaurs to solve that problem is too specific. It should have just been like, big pharma wants to see if they can like harvest these things in some way.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Here's my little... There's a couple of things that irked me about this movie.
Yes.
How long do you think it takes like one of those big fucking dinosaurs to grow? Big.
Yes.
Like how long? Like in your sort of ignorant opinion. Like
I would imagine like 20, 30 years.
yeah. So just all these fucking dinosaurs
Yeah.
are just huge and
Yes.
live around the earth. And you're like, how did this fucking happen so
Yeah.
quickly?
Yes.
Because like Chris Pratt and the Locusts and Jurassic World was not long ago.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is in the future. This is like just a couple years later.
Yeah.
There are full grown fucking dinosaurs everywhere.
Yeah.
There should only be a handful. There should be like 10.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it came out of a theme park, but for some reason it's like they're now like big,
Yeah.
like huge ones.
Yes.
So that annoyed me. But yeah, carry on. So now Scarlett Johansson
Yes, is recruited by
is
Big Pharma.
recruited, and she's
Rupert Friend recruits her, and
Yeah.
they then go and get their paleontologist who serves no purpose in this movie. He may as well not be there.
I was about to say, but he's the sort of Gosling character in the
Yes,
sense that he's like
it's-
shouldn't be there, but he's super smart, so he should be
It's
on
what's
the
his
team.
name? Bailey.
Jonathan Bailey.
Jonathan
Jonathan
Bailey.
Bailey.
Yeah, who I get it. Everyone fucking loves Jonathan Bailey.
Yeah, I know that's why Cole went.
Yes. Yeah.
to watch the movie with you.
It does have a good cast, you know.
Yeah.
Like, Mahershala Ali's in there. Like you said, Rupert Friend. Rupert Friend's a really good actor. Scarlett Johansson. Like, it's there, but like I said, it's just fine. Like, it's not different enough.
Yeah.
They keep doing this thing where they think they have to like go back to an island with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the mission will not go as planned because
Yes.
it's dinosaurs.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that, Samo, and they yeah.
I like that the dinosaurs in this one behave more like animals again.
Yeah.
As
Whereas
opposed to?
in the they're much more like monstery and much more, also a bit more like personified in the Jurassic World ones. Like they keep trying to make Blue a character, the Velociraptor Blue. And it's like, I
in
don't
the
care about
World
this
one.
horrible monster.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a horrible monster that will kill me if it got the opportunity. I don't care about it.
Okay.
Stop trying to make me care about it.
It's like trying to make you care about the shark in Jaws.
Exactly.
Oh, it's my friend. Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like. And it's like, no, just like they're animals. Let them behave like animals again, which this does
Okay.
to an extent, except when we start to get into, there's like weird mutations.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there, but you can see they in the plan to sort of reset it to the first one. They've got a couple of the same beats,
Yeah.
which I think for the person that's just going in for funsies, they won't necessarily pick this up. But the big fans of Jurassic Park specifically will be like, oh, this is the point where it's like dinosaurs are actually beautiful. And
Yeah.
there's a pause to kind of appreciate that, which was very much that like Stegosaurus on its side moment dying
Yeah.
in the first one. And then there's a few beats where it's like, look how magnificent
Yeah.
they are.
They're majestic.
They're so beautiful. And yeah, there's one scene, which now I want to speak about, which
Yeah.
also irks me. Samo, they're in like kind of chest high, shoulder high grass.
Yeah.
And it's a big field of grass where there's the thought something could be in this grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary. like something could jump out of this grass. And that's quite a cool idea. And then you sort of see this like sort of snaky sort of thing come out of the grass. And then you realize it's a tail. But it's a tail to the biggest fucking dinosaurs you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm sorry, in the big field of the grass, how did we not see the big fucking dinosaur that these tails were attached to?
Yeah.
It literally, there was a field of nothing.
Yeah.
You then see these like little tails, and then you see 5 or 6 of the biggest like brontosaurus-y creatures. And it's like, did we not see those coming?
Yeah, just, you know.
They
Right?
They
Didn't
clearly
that bother
tried to
you?
make it look like they were lying down in the field, like they had been asleep.
I think you would have
And
seen
they were like-
such a big dinosaur.
That's the thing. They try to
lying-
make it look like it was lying down, like just over a hill, but it's not enough to
Yeah,
hide something
right?
that big. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I was just like, I'm sorry. Like 4 or 5 like very smart mercenary
Yeah.
sort of assassin-y type people would see a giant fucking dinosaur.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see the tail of that thing first. You would see the whole body of that thing
Yeah.
first.
Oh, especially if you're like out there looking for dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's
You
your
would-
task.
You would be spotting it.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that scene irked me.
Okay.
But then it was, once you sort of saw them in the field, and that was this big, like...
Yeah, that's they're majestic, wonderful animals.
Yeah, that was that beat.
Yes.
Anything else about Jurassic World Rebirth?
You know, I think like it's competently made. Gareth Edwards is a good director. I think Gareth Edwards is a good director. I love Godzilla, 2014 Godzilla. I love that movie. I saw it 3 times in opening weekend.
Really?
I saw it 3 times. I saw it twice on the same day.
That's amazing.
And I think
I don't
he
think I've
was,
ever seen a movie twice on the same
Oh,
day
yeah.
in cinema. Interesting.
I think he was brought in very, very late. Like this movie was announced like less than a year ago.
Wow.
So I think they were very far into like pre-production. Like it had been written, you know, they'd done everything that needed to be done and they just needed a director.
Just to
and
sort
they
of
know
tie it all
Gareth
together.
Gareth Edwards had just done The Creator,
Okay.
which was this like on location, very VFX heavy film. So they were like, we need someone who can handle the visual effects, and we're going to shoot this thing on locations. And we need someone we know we can handle that. So he was just brought in as like a journeyman director, not as someone to like make
Not
real
the visionary.
Yeah, not someone to make like real creative choices.
Okay. No,
You
well,
know.
then that's cool.
So I
And
think the problems that I have with this aren't Gareth Edwards' fault at all.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's very competently made because of that. Like the action set pieces are all good. They're all fun. There's a scene on a river with a T-Rex, which is really good. That was a really great scene.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's actually a scene from, or very similar to a scene from the first book that they cut out of the first movie. So like, let's bring this back, which kind of speaks to another problem that this movie has. That okay, that's a scene from the first book, which was also again, like we said, it was adapted by David Koepp. And it's clearly, it feels like a sequel to the first movie.
Yeah.
Like the going back to the island
Yeah.
and like kind of like rediscovering these dinosaurs in that way and like telling a similar kind of story. You can do that as like a first sequel. But the problem is it's 30 years later and we've had 5 other movies.
Yeah.
So you can't do that.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to be like aware of that.
Yeah.
Like they just wanted to make like their thing. It's like what happened weirdly with the 9th Star Wars movie, where J.J. Abrams came back after doing the 7th one and just pretended the 8th one didn't exist. They just went, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. We're just going to like, you know, rub that all out, pretend it didn't happen and pick up from where we left off. And that's what it feels like they're doing here. They're picking up where Jurassic Park left off.
Yeah.
Not really where Jurassic World left off.
Yeah.
And they keep doing this thing where they're saying dinosaurs are going to like get out into the rest of the world. Well, the movie everyone wants, I think, that they need to commit to is Mad Max with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's like the movie they should make.
Yeah.
And that's almost the movie that Dominion, the last one, promised.
Yeah.
But they never commit to it.
By Mad Max, you mean like the world's gone to shit.
The world's because of
Because there's
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like dinosaurs have like brought back. This is actually what Ryan, we went to watch it with a friend of ours, Reinhard, who we met it after. He's a sweet boy. He was like, why don't they do like a Planet of the Apes sort of thing?
Yeah.
Where like in Planet of the Apes, something about like the tests that they were doing in Planet of the Apes then created a virus which then wiped out humanity.
Okay.
Like bringing dinosaurs back also brings back like a virus that humanity isn't prepared for.
Okay.
Spreads throughout the world, wipes out. Now we have like, you know, a post-apocalyptic world full of dinosaurs. Everyone would watch that movie.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
And it would be cool as hell.
I just want to be the person who puts it out there as well. If anyone from the studios is listening,
Yeah.
you can walk away. The dinosaurs
Yes.
are not holding you hostage. You don't have to keep making these movies. You could make other movies.
Yeah, this is
they,
something.
they can't hear you right now because they're on their big yachts.
I know.
Because they made a lot of money this last weekend.
I mean, it made $314 million.
No.
on
I'm
its
not here
opening
to.
weekend.
I'm not here to poo-poo its success, but I am here to go. I really want to see more different stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the other thing we said is like we also need a different dinosaur franchise.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the Jurassic Park movies are the only ones. Like no one else seems to want to touch dinosaurs because like Jurassic Park is still a thing. We get it occasionally in like King Kong or whatever, but like no one else seems to want to go there. It's like other people can go there.
Yeah.
You can do something else.
Sorry, the other interesting thing about this movie is that Scarlett Johansson is now the highest grossing actor in American cinema as a result of this past weekend.
Jeez, like
She is the highest grossing.
Actor in American cinema.
balls.
So her work in the Avengers
Yeah.
and then Jurassic Park. So her
So if you-
total net gross.
yeah, if you add up the box office of every movie she's made,
now the.
yeah.
I think it was Samuel L. Jackson prior to her.
Okay,
Interesting.
wow. Zoe Saldana must be up
Yeah,
there.
Zoe Saldana was definitely somewhere there
because of
Av-
Avengers and Avatar.
and
She's
Avatar.
in both.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Interesting. Any other movies that you've seen, Sam?
I'm going to say it in here because in an effort to not be the person who comes and only talks about weird 1940s Hollywood movies, I have tried to watch other movies. So I watched this weekend. I watched something called Heads of State, which is a Amazon streaming release,
Okay.
and it is a new film in the Presidents Do Action genre,
Yes.
which I don't know why that exists.
Kicked off at the start with
Air Force One, I can
Yeah.
only assume. Yeah.
White House is down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had G20 with Viola Davis.
yes.
Like this is it's its
a
own genre,
Yeah.
guys.
It's a good genre.
So this
Weird.
is a buddy action flick where John Cena plays the American president and
which is not far away
Yeah.
delightful.
from what could happen. Yeah.
And Idris Elba plays the British Prime Minister. And
Okay.
they are attacked while they're both flying aboard Air Force One, and they get dropped into Belarus, and then they have to like find their way out and fight the terrorists. And
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. It's
Cool.
actually a really good time.
Nice.
No, this is the video store is a very safe space. So if you didn't know this before,
Yeah.
it's a very safe space.
Yeah, it's not gonna blow your mind. It doesn't take any big swings, but
it's
it
not
puts
gonna-
a smile on your face.
Nice.
And listen, I firmly believe there is such a place for that in the world. It's what these kinds of movies have to do.
Yeah.
And as long as they do them well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you enjoyed it.
Nice.
What prompted you guys to watch it?
I mean, apart from me feeling like I should do homework for the podcast, where so I seem more relatable, like someone you could have like a beer with. It was also it's sometimes you have a hard week, and
Sometimes you want a hamburger.
exactly. And I was like, I watched the trailer. I was like, that seems ridiculous. I will push play on this.
Nice.
Okay, so it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon Prime, yeah.
Okay, do you pay for it or is it
It's on the streaming platform. So
on
if you've
the
got,
platform,
if you've
okay.
got,
Prime Video.
yeah.
Prime Video?
No.
Okay. Can we move over to TV?
I have one other for you.
Yeah. No, let's hear it.
Okay, so this was also a just spur of the moment push
Yeah.
play. People had been recommending to me for a while the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Oh my lord.
Okay. Yeah.
I've sung that movie's praises on
Yeah.
this podcast so many times.
Oh my gosh, I need to echo that.
It's phenomenal.
It's like when you
need to
went
watch
to
it.
watch Paddington 2 and you were like,
Yeah.
it's just a Paddington. It's the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah.
No, it's so good.
It's incredible.
I was very hungry walking through Woolworths and I picked up one of those ready-made sandwiches.
Yes.
The only one that they had available was the ham and it was cheese and tomato, and it looked very plain. And I was like, "Fuck!" But this was the only one left because
Yeah.
I think it's like it's not as sexy as the others.
Yes.
But anyway, bought it, ate it, and was like, "Oh my god, this has no right being this good."
Yeah.
Like they added a whole bunch of shit you can't see.
Yeah.
There was like a pesto-y mayo in there.
Okay.
And I was like, my God, the fucking Woolworths cheese and tomato sandwich
Yeah.
is so good.
I was
That
wondering
is-
how you're going to relate a Woolworths sandwich story
Hey,
to what we were
tied
talking
it together.
about, and it went
no,
there.
where it's like, it has no right being this
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Okay, so
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Watch it.
it's incredible.
Watch it with your kids. Watch
It's
it without your
so
kids.
good.
Just watch it.
Yeah,
what makes it good?
So, firstly, it has a genuine, like, actual story for that Puss in Boots character. It is emotive. It is funny on all the levels it needs to be funny on. It's funny for kids. It's really funny for adults.
Yeah.
Like, it knows what it is doing with its adult audience. The voice acting is outrageously good. Florence Pugh, John Mulaney, obviously Antonio Banderas, Salma Hayek. A really good performance from, I am forgetting the actor's name, but he plays Guillermo on What We Do in the Shadows. It'll come to me later.
Yeah.
But it's also just like, it reminded me of the way that like classic Pixar movies used to work, where the story was just this gorgeous clockwork piece of thing that like everything that was set up was paid off, but not in the way I could have expected.
Yeah. Lovely. Well
And,
said.
Like, it portrays things like there's a scene where he has like a legitimate panic attack. And it portrays it like so perfectly. It's not like played for a joke. It's not like exaggerated. It's like a very like genuine, real thing. Like if you've ever had a panic attack,
Yeah.
and you watch that and you go like, that's exactly what it's like.
The scariest part of having a panic attack is going, oh my God, this is actually a panic attack. You don't even know you're in it until like 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, this is real.
Yeah.
And even the way they do like one of the other characters, it's a little dog. He's a little chihuahua.
Yeah.
And the way he responds to that moment is exactly the way therapy dogs.
Yeah.
They're like therapy dogs who are trained for people who have like panic disorders and that sort of thing. And the way the dog like reacts to it is exactly the way they're trained to react.
And I think this
They're
articulates something really amazing. If you go back to the original Shrek movies, what's great about them is it's like, it's a fantastical world, but there are grounded people in that world, and that's why we relate, and that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
And this does that in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Yeah.
So.
It's great. It's so good.
Lovely. And it's interesting how you say how it all kind of fits together like a sort of puzzle piece, sort of really perfectly, because I watched the opposite of that.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Larry Crowne was being fed to me by the algorithms on Netflix.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
How did I not know about this movie? And that, for those who don't know, is code for it's probably not that good.
Yes.
No, because I remember walking through the the film market in Cannes in 2011, when we really were kind of getting going as the Bioscope. And I realized there are so many movies with many famous people. And and you sort of think, whoa, why don't I know about this? And then you realize there is a good reason. This is the first film he ever directed. Well, he directed it. Oh, here's my theory. The first film I think Tom Hanks ever directed was That Thing You Do.
That's right.
And I think it was successful because Tom Hanks wasn't the lead. He was just the bystander. He was the manager of the band.
Yes.
So you could remain somewhat objective over this product you are putting together. Larry Crowne is then another film he has directed and stars very largely in. And I think from that you can see him not quite seeing how everything fits together. So all these like individual scenes are cool and everyone's acting their pants off. But when you put the whole thing together, you're like, this is an odd movie.
Yeah.
It just feels odd.
Okay.
It feels like someone sort of wearing a t-shirt that's too small or pants that are too big. And the overall picture is like, wait, this just looks odd.
Okay.
It's not shit, but it's not tied together in a bow.
Right.
If you have a yen for a Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts film, the answer is Charlie Wilson's War. That is a great movie.
I know of it. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Aaron Sorkin writes, Mike Nichols directs.
Okay.
It's a really good time.
Yeah. Well, Larry Crowne just was odd.
Okay.
It was sort of like when you were meant to care, you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
When you were sort of meant to, and you sort of there's that woman. I think she's got a South African or a kind of Southern African name, but she goes under Gugu as her first name.
Okay.
And you'll recognize her as being in a bunch of things. I
Right.
forget what her surname is, but her first name is Gugu. She's I think her full name's Guguletu, but she's an American actress, very attractive, and she plays this character that sort of makes him cool. It gives him a kind of a transformation, and they're part of like a Vespa bike gang
Right.
with Wilda, what's his Vanderama? Wilderama?
Wilde Vanderama.
Wilda
Wilde
Vanderama
Yeah.
Yeah.
from That 70s Show.
Yes.
But you sort of like, I get that you would sort of find him quirky and you'd want to help him, but she's like helping him too much. Where you're
Okay.
like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
You wouldn't do that. Bryan Cranston is Julia Roberts' husband. It's just
Stacked cast.
Yeah.
It's a stacked cast, and so that's why you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just not amazing.
Okay.
Can I tell you guys about a really good TV show?
Yes.
Go for it.
And I don't know whether the algorithms are going to give it to everyone, but over on Netflix is a TV show called Department Q.
Okay.
But it's spelled like Dept, like Dept Q. Department Q. It is Scottish.
It's got Matthew
Right.
Good in it, right?
It's very Scottish. Who's
Matthew Good. He's the lead, right? Matthew Good.
I don't know. I don't know what the lead's name is.
Yeah.
But it is a good old fucking limited series in all its glory.
Right.
9 episodes.
Yeah.
And it sets up what could be quite a nice series in that there could be another season.
Okay.
So over in this Scottish police department, they figured out like a cold case, an old case, and it got some public attention. And so from the higher ups, they say, let's set up a department that can look after and solve these like prominent cases that never got solved. I'm going over a lot, but this is the broad stroke of the premise. And our main lead is this sort of grumpy but very smart detective, which is also a genre in television on its own. Basically, every cop show is a grumpy but very talented detective.
We're the upbeat, happy detectives. Where are they?
Yeah. And they decide the one they're going to look for is for a missing person who disappeared 4 years ago. No one could ever solve it. Everyone basically believes this woman is dead. She was like a prominent attorney. But we know as the audience that she actually is still being held captive in a decompression chamber, which they give scuba divers if you've got the bends.
Yeah.
So it's haunting in that sense, and it's this great... It's so cool to kind of see these two things kind of slowly get together as they track this woman down. But great acting, like super great acting. Like, when everyone was watching Baby Reindeer and everyone was thinking like, when the Emmys roll around, this woman's certainly going to get nominated. Like, I would believe the main female lead of Department Q deserves an Emmy because she just goes to shit as she's being held captive for 4 years. Like, she just slowly loses her mind. But I just think it's cool to watch a really smart, like, Scottish detective show.
Right.
Yeah. We don't think of Scotland. And the flavor of that accent and those people and the approach and the wit and the humor is interesting and different, and it is smart and well thought out. And I think there is just such a lovely place for the limited series, which obviously we've always had. It used to be called a mini series.
Yeah.
But those were always like, they didn't have a prestige to them.
Right.
A mini series, I don't know whether you felt the same, but they got a little bit lost in history before.
Right.
The big
Unless they
dogs-
were made by HBO, then they were like
Then they were like,
Okay.
stuff like Band of Brothers and that sort of thing was like
Yeah. Then that's probably what then started changing people's attitudes and approach. But now the limited series, I think, is perfect because you just spend enough time with the characters that after 9 hours, because each episode is at least an hour, like, you really care for that woman and you really care for that cop.
Okay.
It also a limited series structurally benefits from it's allowed to have an ending. Like, you can really pay off for the audience.
Yes.
Whereas a TV show that has to have multiple seasons is like, okay, here's the ending I promised you, but also you got to keep watching.
Yes.
Mm.
Or like these days, you'll end with a cliffhanger, but
Always.
there's no guarantee of a second season. Especially with stuff with Netflix, they cancel stuff left and right.
Yeah, and to have something enclosed like that really works is
Yeah.
just really lovely.
Yeah.
Then the complete opposite. So after Department Q, which is quite a dark, quite heavy, quite intense show.
Yeah.
But as I said, lots of lovely payoff. We then watched on Netflix All the Sharks.
Tell me more.
They have gamified nature conservation with a specific focus on shark conservation by creating a reality TV show competition called All the Sharks.
That is a
Where
great
teams
title.
have they travel the world including an episode in South Africa, where the objective is, in scuba diving, to just photograph as many sharks as you can, with certain sharks having certain amount of points.
Are you saying this is Pokemon for sharks?
Yeah.
It is Pokemon Go for sharks. And so it's delightful.
Cool.
You have teams called Gills Gone Wild and another team called the Great British Bait Off.
Nice.
But yeah, it's cool. It's one of those light and fun, but you don't feel like your brain is rotting.
Right.
So like when you eat a McDonald's burger, 10 minutes later, all the nutrients of your whole body have left because they've gone to the processing of this McDonald's burger. And so you feel kind of like hollow and empty inside. So when you watch Love is Blind, like you actually lose brain cells. I think you biologically literally do. But when you're watching this, you feel like, okay, like it's different because I'm learning. I'm learning about sharks.
All of them.
Like all of the sharks.
Yeah.
No, Rays qualify as sharks. I don't know whether you knew that.
I did not know that. That's a
And
fact.
you learn about all other things. Like there is something called a tasseled wobbegong shark,
Of course there is.
which looks so cool and is so wild and different.
Hmm.
But yeah, you've got your constraints are a limited amount of oxygen tank. And if anyone has scuba dived, you'll know that like the deeper you go, where there's maybe a risk of using up more air, that's where the sexy sharks could be.
Right.
And you've got a limited amount of time, and you also got to do the maths on that. But it's fun. It's like it's that classic reality TV competition with eliminations and buddying up and conspiring against each other. But it's about sharks.
Okay.
It sounds like my nightmare. I mean, I'm sure it's fun, but like the idea of like diving in any form, I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Okay. Now, I've done a handful of diving in my life.
Yeah.
And I've even dived with sharks.
Right.
With ragatooths at Sedwana. Funny enough, you're not scared when you're underwater with sharks. I was saying to Leslie, my wife, it's a very similar feeling to seeing a lion in a game drive.
Yeah, except I'm in the vehicle.
No, but you are a big thing that is blowing bubbles out of you. The shark stays the fuck away.
Okay.
They don't. No scuba divers have ever been attacked by sharks. If anything, it's like maybe 2 or 3,
Right.
maybe one a year.
Yeah, it's incredibly
or something tiny.
Yeah.
Where we kill like hundreds of thousands of them.
Yeah.
No, but scuba divers don't look like seals on the water like surfers do. No, so there's no risk of a shark doing something funny.
I think it's just a holdover from having watched The Rescue and going like, oh, jeez, this looks hectic.
What's The Rescue?
The Rescue, did you ever see Free Solo, the
Yes.
climbing documentary? So it's the same team that made that. And they use a lot of archival footage and some recreations to make the story of the cave divers rescuing that soccer team of boys in Thailand.
Yes.
It's an incredible movie. I definitely recommend it.
There have been so many on that story specifically. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is called The Rescue.
The Rescue, and it's the documentary one. There's a fictionalized one.
Yeah.
I think because the story is just insane. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen, even though it's happened.
I've seen the fictionalized limited series.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this, I think the documentary is absolutely worth watching. It's on Disney Plus, I think.
Cool.
But the reason I bring it up is because the whole thing is about like what kind of people go into a cave and look at a tiny hole and go, I want to go into there.
No, the
Yes.
cave diving is scary.
Yeah.
And the few times I've dived where I've had to sort of swim under things and gone through those crevices, like it is a bit scary because you also can't quite get a sense of how big your back is, and you're afraid you're going to hit something. And so that part's a little scary. But single-handedly, one of the coolest things I've ever done in my whole fucking life was dive a World War II wreck.
That's cool.
In the Red Sea.
That's interesting.
Where it is a boat called the Thistlegorn,
Okay.
where you literally see time, frozen. And you can swim through cabins. And on these cabins in the back are like trucks, these World War II trucks and motorbikes.
That's so weird.
And locomotives and like bullets. These things are huge. They're almost like the what is it called? The sort of the circumference of the bullet is like a dinner plate. It's like it's huge. These big things, and that was incredible.
Yeah, it's
Well,
amazing.
But all that stuff that you just reminded me of something talking about all that shark stuff. Remember when like Shark Week and all that thing, all that was the stuff?
Yeah.
I remember watching a documentary. It was one of those ones where it's like, you know, a guy's looking into sharks and he's going around to like all these places in the world and he goes onto a boat where they're like tagging sharks. They're like catching sharks, tagging them and then releasing them again so they can track them. And they're going through and they're talking about it like this is what the process is like. And they're like, and this is one of our volunteers. This is Paul. And there's Paul Walker.
Oh shit!
The actor, he would just volunteer on these ships and just go and like tag sharks just for the hell of it.
Interesting.
Wild.
And then I remember seeing one a few years later, hosted by that same guy. It happened when Paul Walker died,
Yeah.
and apparently after that, him and Paul Walker had become friends.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like he just happened to be shooting a documentary when like the accident happened, and he was like, and he started talking, and they got into like how that happened. I just thought like, what are the freaking odds of all of that?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Paul Walker, hey, did you guys see? Wasn't there an announcement
You know.
that like Paul Walker's going to show up in the new Fast
I
and
think
the
Vin
Furious?
Diesel said like, yeah, he'll
Oh boy.
he'll show up in some form. He won't be late to the barbecue this time, I guess.
Oh.
Because that's how they end every single one of those movies. It's like, where's Brian? And then his
Here
car
he is.
pulls up and then the movie ends.
Okay.
They've done it like at least twice. It's like, stop pretending he's alive, guys, please. It's
Yeah,
weird.
It is weird.
It's so uncomfortable.
Oh, that's right, because they didn't kill him in the series.
Yes.
Still
Yeah.
driving.
He just
Exactly.
went out to sort of raise a family.
Yes. And then he sends his wife to do all the dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
Jeez, like.
Okay, well he's gonna show up apparently.
You know, weird.
Magic. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time. Is there anything else that you're dying to mention at this
Not
point?
really.
Okay.
I
Well,
will
Superman's
just
out
throw
next
in
week.
one last thing, which is called the Terror.
Oh, yeah.
Terror.
Yeah. So you know how you watch a TV show like Chernobyl and you go, "Oh, Jared Harris is in this. It must be excellent."
Mm-hmm.
Who's Jared Harris?
He's the lead guy in Chernobyl.
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
on Mad Men. He played Lane on Mad Men. That's sort of his most famous kind of role. Son of Richard Harris, who was the original Dumbledore.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Terror tells the story of two ships trying to break through the Arctic shipping lane
I've
in
heard
the
about this.
1800s.
Yes.
And they get stuck in the winter when the ice freezes around their boats. And so
Okay.
so they have to survive through the winter, and they end up being stalked by something.
Oh. Is this going to be a movie?
It's a
It
10,
exists.
it's a 12 episode series.
It's
Yeah.
a 12-episode series that does exist. Where is it
Does exist.
available?
Okay, so I looked high and low for this show, and I
Yeah.
cannot find it on any streaming. I had to go to Video Spot and rent it on DVDs.
Oh, right.
That is what I had to do.
Okay.
But I just want to.
Is it old?
It's not. It's like a couple of years old.
2018.
Yeah, it's not.
this
It's not
is.
terribly old.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Um,
amazing how these shows can just get lost.
Completely. But I just want to shout it out because it is like if you like Chernobyl, if you like those kinds of things, it is one
I
of
thought
those
Chernobyl
shows.
was an incredible show.
Yeah, it's like the most stressful show I've ever seen in my life. So like anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
What I love about Chernobyl, it's such a small thing, but they just go like, we know everybody spoke Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do this in Russian
Yeah.
with subtitles. And we're not
Yes.
going to do them speaking in English with Russian accents because
Yes.
that's just fucking lame.
Because that just implies that they can speak Russian, but they're just
They
speaking
choose
English.
not to.
Yes, exactly.
Speak that to each other.
They've done
So-
that a few times in like movies and stuff where they're like, just through the magic of cinema, you can understand
And
this
I just love
language.
that it slowly transitions. I love
Yeah.
that just they give you 10 seconds to go, it's in Russian and it's slowly transitioning.
They did that in that Tom Cruise Nazi movie,
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. Thank you.
Yeah.
The one where Tom Cruise tries to assassinate Hitler.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the same thing. It started in German and then like faded into English.
Yeah. It's a good way to do
Yeah.
it. All right, Magic. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for a lovely day, a
Thank
lovely
you.
shift. Thanks for making it all the way now to the end.
Mm-hmm.
To hear me say our home base is the video store.
Yeah.
.co.za. And please chime in. Just let us know what you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
You can give us a hey, did you guys see? You can make that as a comment in Instagram or over on our Facebook group. You can return stuff where you give us reviews on the things that you're watching. And most importantly, just wander into the video store next week
Yeah.
where we'll probably be focusing on Superman.
Superman.
Yeah, that's this week. We're going to send GeForce and Gaddy
Yeah.
to the premiere because Gaddy has Superman curtains.
Yes.
True.
Gad is 40.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. All right, lekker.
Nice.
Charles.
Bye-bye.
Bye.